The sun is starting to sink in the horizon and the shadows are growing long at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is what the locals call happy hour. That's when the fast times can be found around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And fittingly, it is time for the pole shootout for the fifth running of the Indianapolis 8-hour presented by AWS. Hello and welcome to the corner of 16th and Georgetown. This is Pole Shootout, and I'm Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is alongside. It's Amanda Busick down in the pits. We've whittled the field of 23 down to just 10. And this one's really straightforward, Calvin. One driver climbs aboard each of these 10 cars. They go for 15 minutes, and whoever has the fastest time starts on pole.
The ultimate throwdown here. Shadows now coming across the speedway, so it should be fast out there. We saw a couple of drivers dip below that 123 mark, high 22s. Let's see if they can go deeper than that, but certainly a lot on the line here. Ken Lauren Heinrich is second consecutive Indy 8-hour pole. That Porsche has been really fast here this weekend.
He was scheduled to start on pole for the IMSA race here as well a couple of weeks ago. Lost that due to a technical infraction, but it could be effectively 3 poles in 12 months at the Speedway in Porsche GT3 machinery for Lauren Heinrich. But he's going to have some challenging competition. Alex Palou, Patrick Niederhauser, Philip Eng, Dries Van Thor, Dan Harper, Trent Hindman, Connor DeFilippi, Mauro Engel, and Arjun Maini all set to take part in this pole shootout. It is a big grid, but some interesting choices as well, especially when you look at Lone Star Racing, electing to go with the IndyCar superstar, but relative neophyte to GT3 racing, Alex Palou.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a shocker there, but I mean, all three of their drivers are within a tenth or two, so maybe they're just giving Alex a little bit more seat time and see if he can come back with some magical performance. He's won here a couple of times on this road course in IndyCar competition, so he's certainly got the magic sauce this year, coming off the back of another IndyCar championship, but this is going to be a tall order for him to come out on top of this 10-driver shootout. In
qualifying, it was Mercedes that was flexing the muscle. The fastest 2 times combined across the 3 drivers were a pair of Mercedes-AMG GT3s, but BMW was right there nipping at their heels, and you pointed out that Porsche's got an ace up their sleeve in Lauren Heinrich, who's a qualifying ace around this place. Where do you look for a favorite in qualifying?
I think the 2 Porsches. I think Lauren Heinrich there, Patrick Niederhauser, he's been bullet fast here this weekend as well. But you know, Team WRT, 2 really strong BMWs there. Connor DeFilippi, Ken Random Vandals, the home team pull off a bit of a surprise here, and you can't count out the Mercedes as well. So is anyone. I think all 10 drivers there have the potential to come out on top here.
Last year we saw a Pro-Am car start on the overall pole. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and when you have guys like Niederhauser and Maini aboard these Pro-Am cars on equal footing, right? It's all equal GT3 machinery. There's no reason they can't put in a stellar qualifying effort.
You know, everyone's in with a shout here, and the time's been so tight all weekend long. There's a lot of teams, a lot of data to come here with, and we saw, you know, the whole field really separated by just over a second. So here in this shootout, how deep can they go? There is the opportunity within this 15-minute session to go out on a set of tires, come back in, put a fresh set of Pirelli P0s on. You lose all of your times to that point, but there may be some of these teams elect to do that.
And what's the advantage?
Well, basically, you're going to get a bit of a read on the car. You can also work on the car as well when you do that. So if you want to do a quick little fine-tuning element to it, just read the track a little bit, see if it's changed since the qualifying session here a couple hours ago, and just try and end up with the fastest time. Certainly, if you put fresh tires on at the end, the car's going to be a little bit lighter as well. So lots to play for. You only got 15 minutes with it, though, and if there's a red flag, that can certainly scupper your chances if you've elected to come back down pit lane.
The clock is rolling, and this 15 minutes can go very fast indeed. Random Vandals will be the first to head out onto the racetrack. A stalwart team at the GT4 level, has some touring car racing experience, but this is just their 3rd GT3 start as an operation, and they really jumped into the big kids pool here. No kiddie pool for them, going up against some of the best GT teams and drivers in the world.
Yeah, really solid driver lineup with IndyCar race Connor Daly aboard alongside Connor DeFilippi, who's doing the qualifying chores here in the pole shootout. BMW factory drivers won this race here before, finished 2nd overall in GTP competition a couple of weeks ago, and he's here to win it again. He wants to win overall, as does Paul Sparta, the team owner there. I would suggest that the couple of cars that have gone out early may be they're the only two teams that are looking at doing that strategy of coming back in again. Everyone else sitting up on the jacks there, looking to go a little bit deeper into this session and then put some hot Pirelli P0s on their car and go for it.
These are the two US-based teams as well, at least normal Fanatec GT World Challenge America teams, because Lone Star Racing is US-based as well. But any coincidence, you think, that it's the two championship regulars in North America that elect to play this card?
Well, I think we've seen teams do that. We saw Robbie Foley do that at Barber because it's allowed in our championship as well here in Fanatec GT World Challenge America. So everyone's got a different way of going about it, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to come right down to the wire. I think the last couple of laps here could decide who ends up out on top.
That was Trent Hidman aboard the RS1 machine. That team so busy racing at so many different levels with Porsche machinery, everything from club level racing all the way up to GT3. They were super impressive to make it through to pole shootout, especially young Jake Peterson, who's making his second Indy 8-hour start, but has yet to run a full season of GT3.
Yeah, he was here last year, of course, so he's building on that experience. Super impressive young man, seems to be very stable and level-headed, so he's up for the challenge here this weekend. So Connor Di Filippi getting up to speed here aboard this BMW M4. The reason I think this team may be up for that, I spoke to Kenton Cook here earlier this weekend, and he said, we watched what Robbie Foley did with Turner Motorsport. He said, I thought that was a good strategy, so maybe they've put that in their memory bank and thinking of doing the same thing, cutting and pasting that strategy move here with the tire situation.
Class wins for Connor Di Filippi at the 24 Hours of Daytona and Petit Le Mans. An overall win at the Nürburgring 24 back in 2017. ADAC GT Masters champion. Plenty of experience in GTs, although this is one of many drivers on this grid that aspired to be an IndyCar driver one day. Fate didn't smile on him in that respect, but still the chance to race here at Indianapolis for someone who grew up idolizing the IndyCar stars of a decade or two ago, this is special.
It really is. He's had factory stints at Porsche and at Audi. Now he's found a great home here at BMW. 23.5 is the first hot lap here in this session. About 0.6 off the fastest times that we've seen so far today.
We saw a handful of cars break into the 122 bracket in qualifying, with everyone trimmed out, with the temperatures coming down, the shadows on the track bringing track temps down as well. What do you think might be achievable here in the shootout?
Maybe a 23.7, something like that. But you've got to really nail it, yeah.
We'll see if it's in the cards. Connor Di Filippi with the benchmark time early on at a 23.5.
Going faster still, fastest purple right now in Sector 1, so he's improving on his previous lap.
Watching Trent Hidman ply his trade right now. GT3 champion in IMSA, multiple champion in Lamborghini Super Trofeo, and he's won in Fanatec GT World Challenge America as well. Took the silver class crown back in 2020, but Di Filippi pushing.
Get him working that wheel, trying to get the car to carve these corners through here.
To the front straightaway into the famed yard of bricks, the last bit of that famous pavement, the bricks that is, that used to go all the way around this facility. It's now down under a couple levels of tarmac, but the 1 yard there at the start-finish line remains.
A few hundred slower there on that last lap by Connor Di Filippi.
Edmund starting to put this car through its paces as well and pick up the pace. This lap will be substantially quicker than his first, but still a ways off what we think might be out there at a 124 flat.
Yeah, and as I say, if they are going to elect to use that strategy, these are just kind of siding laps for the drivers. Trying to get your eyes in, the shadows change as well, so I think that could be an advantage just to see what the track conditions are like, where the shadows are at this late in the afternoon.
He was part of the class-winning team for Wright Motorsports last year in this race, was Trent Hidman. Picked up a couple of wins earlier this season at Sebring. I was racing in the Pro class with Spencer Pompelli. They've been bouncing back and forth between Pro and Pro-Am over the course of the year, and it's a Pro-Am entry here this weekend. ST Racing rolls out their car. I suppose this is another US-based team. I think of them as Canadian, but now based on the West Coast. And it's Philip Eng who's been drafted in to join the lineup here this weekend.
Okay, him getting back over onto that racing line as he hits the brake pedal. Pretty emotional when he had the overall victory here a couple of weeks ago in that GTP machine for Team RLL. It's a big victory for him. First podium in 2 years, and to break through and get the victory at the same time was huge for that whole group. Gives him a lot of momentum coming into this race weekend.
2015 Porsche Super Cup champ that helped promote Philip Eng to stardom. Had a great year last year, including his third win at the 24 Hours of Spa. Right now brought in to be the ringer here this weekend for ST Racing. Philip Eng with a purple middle sector. Patrick Niederhauser flying through sector 1. So we're about to see some fast times pop up on the board. I don't think people are going to be waiting around too much longer. Time starting to run out here halfway through this pole shootout, just 15 minutes in length. This will set the top 10 starting positions on the grid for the 5th running of the Indy 8 Hour.
Yeah, I'm with you. You need to be out there on the racetrack right now to have enough time. We spoke to Mauro Engel after his earlier qualifying run. He said it took lap 3, 4 before the tires really came into their sweet spot.
Oh, this is looking very impressive here for Patrick Niederhauser. This is his first push lap. Some drivers were saying it might take 3 or 4 laps to get the Pirellis to their peak, but Niederhauser not waiting around. He goes 1:22.5.
That is a monster first lap there. Incredible stuff.
That's the Herbert Motorsport team trying to take Antares Au to the Independent Cup Championship in Intercontinental GT Challenge here this year. And what a lap from the Swiss driver who turns 33 years old next Tuesday.
Really impressive. Is young Don Harper, the Brit behind the wheel, coming across the line here to start a flyer.
Harper making his debut in this event. Right now, 4th quickest. Philip Eng continuing to push, but gave up some time there in Sector 2. Lauren Heinrich out on track. He's going for back-to-back poles in this event. Niederhauser has lowered the bar further in Sector 1. Gave up a little bit in Sector 2, but not much. He's there still flirting with that 1:22.5 range that he's already put on the board.
Eng lines up 3rd right now, just a touch off of Connor Di Filippi, who's come to pit lane.
Van Thor with the strong opening sector of the lap as well. To the line, Lauren Heinrich jumps up to 2nd. Let's see what the Porsche behind could do. That's Niederhauser, does not improve. He's still at a 22.5 for his best lap. That's provisionally on pole. Van Thor had a great first sector, but not so in the second. This still would put him in a good position, though. I think it would be good enough for 2nd if he can keep this pace up.
He has a really good lap he's got going here. See if he can finish it off as he crosses the stripe. He's in
3rd.
P3.
Al Harper, what can he do? A little bit slower through the first 2 sectors than Van Thor was.
Right behind his teammate.
Yep, a little bit slower there as well. Ends up 4th.
500s between the 2 BMWs there.
Still waiting on Mercedes, though. None of the Mercs have put up a time just yet. Arjun Maini is the first to do so, and he immediately goes 3rd overall. How about Alex Palou? What can the 3-time IndyCar champion do? Indy 500 pole sitter, Palou to 3rd.
He's the fastest Merc right now in this field.
Oh, Lauren Heinrich, look, he's doing his magical Lauren Heinrich things around the speedway. Woo! I don't know if that's going to cost him time or not, but it was spectacular. Here he comes, flirting with provisional pole for the 2nd straight year. Here comes Lauren Heinrich to the Art of Bricks. Is it fast enough? It is not at a 1:22.8.
Yeah, that cost him time there, that little lurid slide there coming through 13, laid rubber down on the racetrack, but not the way to go. He's got to regroup here.
Mauro Engel down in 9th, but still looking to push. He's got some time, and they're late getting started here, so there is still some pace left in those Pirelli P0s. Here comes Van Thor. This is not a lap that's going to help him move forward. Right now, 6th and 2nd in class. Quickly to run through the classes, the black number plates with the white numerals on the scoring pylon there, that is Pro-Am. The white plates with black numerals, that is North American Pro, and the Intercontinental GT Challenge Pro is the black numerals with the yellow number plates.
Arjun Maini here on a solid lap. Can he jump up onto the front row? It's going to be close. No, he's 3rd.
Not by much, just a 1/10 of a second off of the front row. How about Alex Palou? He's flirting with pole type speed. He jumps to 2nd at a 1:22.6. Impressive lap from the Spaniard.
Wow, just a 1/10 of a second off the pole, and he splits the 2 Porsches. Here's Lauren Heinrich, pushing, 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 so close to that pole position.
Just 600ths off through the first 2 sectors, despite not having a personal best in either of those first 2 sectors. Heinrich to the stripe, and he goes at a 1:22.7. It's his best lap, but it does not change the order with 3 minutes to go.
What do the Mercedes camp have here? Can anyone respond here and leap over that top Porsche?
Edmund back out on the circuit. Unable to improve, still down in the 10th spot. Van Thor has been fast. How about this lap from Dries?
That jumps him up 2 positions, up to P4. 3/10 off the pole, however.
Dan Harper does not improve, still down in 8th. Maini gave up a ton of time in the middle sector, so he'll have to regroup with 2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. And how about Alex Palou? He's within 15 thousandths of the pole in his debut in a Mercedes. Never driven one of these before here this weekend. Alex Palou looking for pole position. Not fast enough.
No, lost it all in the 3rd sector, unfortunately. That's the one he had a problem with in earlier qualifying.
We're 2 minutes away, Calvin, from having a Pro-Am car on overall pole for the 2nd straight year. Take a bow past Niederhauser. That said, it's not done yet. Here comes Lauren Heinrich. He is close. Heinrich to the line. No.
Just to sniff off. I think he's peaked. I don't think he can dig deep enough to find those couple of 10ths to usurp the other Porsche.
Maro Engel, personal best, but still just 7th. It's a bit disappointing for Group M. How about Hinman? Personal best, but still 10th.
A lot of laps on his tires there. That's 9 laps into this run. Connor De Filippi did that earlier burst. They did not throw a new set of Pirelli P0s at him. He just stayed on pit lane. A little slide there by Maini. That's going to cost him. We saw that with Heinrich. So important to get the launch off of 13. It really sets up your terminal speed down this front straightaway.
Native of Bangalore, India, Arjun Maini comes across the line, but still finds himself in 5th. Alex Palou is still pushing. There's just not time to be found. I think everyone is past the peak, except for perhaps Maro Engel, who's just gone personal best in Sector 1. Let's not write him off yet. Personal best in Sector 2. It doesn't look like a lap that's going to be good enough to threaten for pole, but it could bump them up the order a position or 2. Here he comes.
Top 5 potentially if he digs deep. I'd say 5th or 6th probably for Maro here.
Looks nice and smooth through turn 14, back up onto the 5/8 of a mile front straightaway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 6th. And the checker flag waves. He'll be able to complete this lap if he's still pushing. We'll soon see. Arjun Maini is not pushing. You can tell that with the Sector 2 time, and you can hear it as well with the engine note. He's out of it. He will start no better than 5th. And so it's really now just Maro Engel. And let's see what his first sector time, he's still pushing.
Yeah, not his personal best, but certainly a decent first sector. For the Sector 2 timeline to be tripped.
How about that qualifying performance, though, from Niederhauser? About halfway through this session, he came out. It was his first push lap, I believe, and he just laid it down at a 1:22.6, the fastest time, make that a 1:22.5, the fastest time we had seen by a large margin in the build-up to qualifying or throughout the course of the week.
His second best lap was good enough for pole as well.
Exactly. Fantastic, and a nice boost for his teammate Antares Al, who again is chasing that Independent Cup Championship. There's Alex Palou, class pole, and not too far off overall pole in his first ever qualifying effort in a Mercedes-AMG GT3. Has very limited GT3 experience, just a season of Super GT, GT300 class competition back in 2019. But that was in a McLaren, this is a Mercedes. I'd say this was eye-opening.
Yeah, what a talent, what a performance. Great job by Lone Star Racing and AJ Peterson as well.
Well. Niederhauser, Al, and Hartog provisionally on pole for the 5th running of the Indy 8 Hour. You said Porsche might be the brand to beat, but I think we were both thinking Laurin Heinrich.
I think he had a lap going there. That little slide out of 13 had been closed. I think he could have been on the front row. Whether it was good enough for the pole, Niederhauser's lap was just sensational.
And again, for Alex Palou to be mixing it up with these big names in GT racing, to put that on the front row of the grid, really impressive. Then we see the provisional pole sitters for North America. That's Heinrich, Skier, and Adelson. A big boost for them as they look to wrap up a championship here tomorrow. Yeah,
they look really good. Got a 7-point lead, and the Corvettes are definitely on the back foot, who are chasing them the hardest.
Well, it's shaping up to be a ton of fun tomorrow. We'll have a full day of racing starting just after noon here in Indianapolis. Let's hear from Amanda down in the pits.
And it's a repeat on pole for her with Motorsports and Antares. I don't know what you and your team have figured out about coming into Indianapolis, but you told me yesterday in hospitality that it has just been a rough year for this team. So to turn it around right here at the last race of the season, how is this the kickoff that your team was looking for?
It really is, difficult, getting a lap together. I think so much of it is, this team putting so much effort into giving us a good platform. The vibe is really good. It feels like driving among friends. So I think it's tough, but it's good that we're having this conclusion.
Now, Patrick Niederhauser are going to join these guys for dinner at St. Elmo's tonight. What stories will you share at dinner?
Well, we first need to have a serious talk with Patrick because we said he needed to go for the lap record and he missed it by a 10th. So we need to have a serious chat with him first.
Oh man, guys, it's just never enough. Congratulations. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Indianapolis 8 Hour.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Warn them about the shrimp cocktail, Amanda. You need to make sure you know what you're getting into at St. Elmo. Highlights from pole shootout, and it got started a little bit on the slow side. A couple of teams venturing out, Random Vandals in RS1, but boy, did it pick up at the midway point.
Yeah, the town just kept coming, and then the Porsches let loose, and boy, they set the benchmark really high.
Philip Bang, one of the first to look for some lap time for ST Racing. Excited to see what they can do. They're looking for a championship with their Pro-Am car. Alex Palou has been flirting with the edge of the track all weekend long, but he was able to put it together with an outstanding lap to start 2nd overall and 1st in class. Laurin Heinrich trying to go back-to-back in terms of pole positions for the Indy 8 Hour, and he was close. Had a big slide late in the going that cost him that chance, but it'll be Patrick Niederhauser set to lead the field to green tomorrow.